Okay, so now we are going to uh, continue this session. Today we are going to discuss about the hypertension and its yogic management. First of all, before starting this session, we have to chant Om and prayer. Let's start. Both hands on Gyan Mudra. Keep your spine straight, neck straight. Now join your both palms. Chant Om. Close your eyes. Inhale. Om. Prayer. योगेन चेतस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. Gently open your eyes. Namaskar. Yogpath Wellness welcomes you all to today's Yoga Weekly Grouped Out session. So today we are going to discuss about the hypertension and its yogic management. I'm Rashmi and today I'm going to discuss about the hypertension with you. So what is hypertension? First, we have to know that what is hypertension. Hypertension is also known as the high blood pressure. It is a very common disease nowadays. In hypertension, or what is actually done, the blood pressure against our artery wall gets higher. So the blood pressure is gets higher towards the artery wall due to some medical conditions, due to some biological conditions, and there are several causes behind it. So we measured this hypertension mmHg in 2 units basically. Like first we measure the systolic pressure and the diastolic pressure. So what is systolic pressure? Systolic pressure is the higher amount which represents the pressure against the artery wall when heart gets contract and pump the blood throughout the body. This pressure is known as the systolic pressure. Second is the diastolic pressure. Diastolic pressure is the lower number, which represents the pressure against the artery wall when the heart relaxes and in between the beats and the blood flow. So now we are going to discuss the main types of hypertension. There are two main types of hypertension. First is the primary hypertension and second is the secondary hypertension. So the primary hypertension is generally caused due to the faulty lifestyle and sedentary lifestyle, you can say. It is grow up with the age. So if we are talking about the primary hypertension, it is the main cause of primary hypertension is poor lifestyle, poor health, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy diet. So these are some common causes of primary hypertension. But when we are talking about the secondary hypertension, so secondary hypertension is generally caused during the underlying conditions, the medical conditions like kidney disease, hormone imbalance, and intake of certain medications. So these type of factors are become cause of secondary hypertension. Now, we're going to discuss the main factors and main causes behind the hypertension. There are various factors which works behind to create the hypertension in the body. So, the first cause is a genetic cause. If someone having the family history of hypertension is more prone to develop the high blood pressure condition in his body. Second is the unhealthy diet. If you take the high intake of iodine, it leads to the fluid retention in your blood, which cause the hypertension in body. Also, if you If your intake of saturated fats are higher in your diet, it also causes the hypertension. Second thing is the LDL and HDL. There are two types of cholesterol, LDL and HDL. LDL means the low density lipoprotein, and the HDL means the high density lipoprotein. So the LDL are also known as the bad cholesterol, and HDL is a good cholesterol. If in your diet there is a lot of LDLs, like fried food, junk food, your intake of fried food, junk food is more than the healthy fats, then it also a main reason which cause the hypertension. So now we are going to discuss the next cause, which is the lack of physical activity. Lack of physical activity can lead to obesity, and it also a main reason of hypertension, because the lack of physical activity is responsible for the viscosity of blood. It can also generate the condition in blood when the blood get thicker in your artery walls, and it's getting obstructive for the flowing of the blood properly. Now, the next cause is the we can say obesity. Obesity is also the cause of hypertension. Due to obesity, your blood getting not so active in the artery walls, and also we can say the cause is smoking. Smoking is the another cause of hypertension. When someone is smoke, its arteries gets less flexible and thinner, and it gets the narrowing of arteries. It results to the narrowing of arteries, which also a reason of hypertension. So there are some several reasons, several causes, several factors which are responsible for the hypertension, for causing the hypertension. Now we are going to discuss how we can diagnose the hypertension. So the normal range of a healthy person, when we are going to discuss the normal blood pressure range, is between the 120 by 80 mmHg. If your blood pressure is consistently higher than 120 by 80 mmHg, then it considered as a hypertension condition, and it's a very serious medical condition. So now we're going to discuss about the epidemiology of hypertension. In epidemiology, we are going to discuss about its prevalence rate, its distribution, and the risk factor of hypertension. If we talk about the global preference, so according to WHO, World Health Organization, according to record of World Health Organization, there are 1.13 billion cases are recorded of hypertension in 2015, and it will be increased in 2025. According to WHO, it will be like 1.56 billion will be expected to 2025. So it's a huge amount, huge ratio of hypertension, which is having a great prevalence rate in globally. So now we're going to discuss about its risk factor. There are several risk factors of hypertension which we also discuss in their causes, like the obesity, kidney disease. If you're suffering with some kidney condition or medical condition which is which is matching with the kidney condition, it is also a this factor in causing the hypertension. And the another causes and the another risk factors are like smoking, excessive consumption of alcohol, and the sleep disturbance, insomnia, obesity, any asthmatic condition, pulmonary disease. So these all are the risk factor of hypertension. And if and this main thing is the main risk factor is the any type of cardiovascular disease, any type of cardiovascular condition. If you're suffering from any type of cardiovascular condition, so it may be a very great risk factor for hypertension. So now I would like to call Shweta ma'am, and she will explain how you can manage hypertension through some yogic practices.
Namaskar. I hope this session is remedial for you. Now, further in this session, I am going to discuss about the yogic management of hypertension. The yogic management of hypertension involves a holistic approach. So, the yogic management is the holistic approach which involves the physical posture that we call the asanas, and then it involves the breathing exercises, which means pranayam. Another one is involves the relaxation techniques. The relaxation techniques is you may also call the meditation and the mindfulness techniques. And the dietary patterns and the lifestyle management is very necessary for management of hypertension. And for the treatment of hypertension, all these components are necessary. Number one, asanas. Number two, pranayam. Number three is relaxation techniques. Number four, dietary patterns. And number five is lifestyle management is very necessary for treating the hypertension. So now, first I'm going to discuss about the physical postures and the asanas we must include for the treatment of hypertension. So, the number one, we can practice the sun salutation, that means Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar is very beneficial asana for managing the blood pressure levels, and it improves the blood circulation in the body. Number two, you may practice the Setu Bandhasana. Setu Bandhasana is a twisting body posture. So that is why it is improving the blood circulation and reducing the blood pressure levels. Number three, you may practice Ardh Matsendra Asana. Ardha Matsyendrasana is also a twisting asana by which the blood flow level is managed, is regulated so that it helps in reducing the blood pressure levels. Number four, the Bhujangasana. Bhujangasana is also a uh, very important asana for improving the blood circulation level. And last but not the least, you may practice the Shavasana. Shavasana is a relaxing asana by which the blood flow levels can be managed, because in the Shavasana, our parasympathetic nervous system get activated and it's shut down all the activities of the sympathetic nervous system, and it is overcome by the parasympathetic nervous system, so which helps in calming the mind and improving the level of blood circulation. That is why these are the components helps in managing the blood pressure levels. Now come to the another component, that is the pranayam. You can also say the breathing exercises. So the very important breathing exercise for managing the blood pressure level is Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. That means alternate nostril breathing. This alternate nostril breathing is very important for managing blood circulation, because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps in calming the mind. And again, the calmness of the mind regulates the level of blood pressure. And the breathing regulation is very important for the blood circulation and low which lowers the blood pressure levels. And the number 2 breathing exercise you may practice, that is Bhramari Pranayam. Bhramari Pranayam you may also call the bee breath. You may practice this pranayam, which is very effective for regulating blood circulation, in which we are doing we are taking the breath and raise the noise and produce the noise of like a bee. Through which this bee voice is very much calming, provide the calming effect of the mind, and it also helps in reducing the pressures of the blood. Now, the third component, the third breathing exercise you may practice for regulating the blood circulation level is Ujjayi Pranayam. Ujjayi Pranayam you may also call the victorious breath. In this pranayam, what we are doing, we have to take a breath and produce the sound like an ocean, through which you can also calm the mind, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and it helps in regulating the blood pressures also. The number 4, you may practice the Kapalbhati Pranayam. The Kapalbhati Pranayam is a cleansing process of pranayam which includes in a Shatkam method. The Kapalbhati Pranayam is also called the skill breathing, skill cleansing breathing. So, in which we have to take a breath and release the breath number of times at a stretch. The Kapalbhati is very helpful for managing the blood circulation level because it produces the heat and helps in removing the blockages in the arteries and the veins that promotes the high blood pressure. That is why the pranayam techniques, these pranayam techniques are very helpful in regulating the hypertension. The next component of regulating the high blood pressure is relaxation techniques. The relaxation techniques you may practice like Yog Nidra, which is also called a yoga sleep, in which the auto suggestions is giving to the person so that he or she can relax normally, and which helps in calming their blood pressure levels. Now, the next relaxation technique you may also practice, that is the progressive muscle relaxation technique. In this muscle relaxation technique, we have to give the auto suggestion to the patient by which they have to contract the muscles and then release the muscles. The contraction and the relaxation of the muscle is providing the calmness in the body, stillness in the body, which helps in managing the blood flow, which improves the blood circulation level and is aid to the normalize your blood pressure levels. And you may also practice some meditation techniques and mindfulness techniques for regulating the blood circulation level. The meditation process helps in reducing the stress level. The stress level is the enemy of hypertension. Whenever the stress level gets increased, your blood pressure level is also gets increased. So we have to manage the stress level first while managing the hypertension. So All these three components are very, very helpful for managing the stress levels, which is increasing a risk factor of hypertension. So if you can practice these three components regularly, so you can prevent yourself for developing this hypertension disorder. And if you have the hypertension, so you may reduce your levels and manage your blood circulation. And now then, other complementary, other factors, other components are also responsible for managing the blood pressure. This is the the dietary patterns. As we have discussed in the introduction, that dietary patterns are very important for managing the blood circulation. The dietary patterns you may include fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and low sodium. So whole grains you may also include in the diet. So this balanced diet can also help in reducing the blood pressure level. And some tips the healthcare provider would give in their dietary patterns, that they have to take low sodium diet, in which they have to take low levels of salt. They have to reduce the intake of salt, and they have to increase the intake of the food in which are rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium. When a patient of hypertension start consuming this pattern of food which are rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium, so they can also manage their blood pressure levels. So you would like to know that how which are the foods that are rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium. So I'm going to discuss this. The potassium rich foods are bananas, white beans, mushrooms, milk. So these are the food products in which high amount of potassium is found. Now come to the magnesium. The magnesium rich foods are the beans, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and the green vegetables are also is are very rich in magnesium. So you may increase the intake of these food products in your diet. And the calcium rich food, you may you know very well that what are the calcium rich foods which is very popular, like milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, and the butter, the salted butter you should not take. And the butter you can take in a moderate level. You cannot take in as a uh, I mean full amount of product. So you may you have to take the butter in a very moderation level. So now you may increase the amount of milk, yogurt, cheese, and the spinach, and the okra, in which these are the foods which are very high rich in the calcium. So you may take these products for regulating your blood circulation level. Now come to the next. The lifestyle modifications are also very necessary for improving the blood circulation. The lifestyle modification you may include the regular practice of yogasanas or any exercises you can do. The dietary patterns you must follow, and the regular practice of the component has discussed in this session. So you may incorporate in your lifestyle intervention. So if you are practicing regularly these components, and try to organize yourself and try to manage your stress levels and other I mean hyper anxieties. If you are able to manage the hyper anxiety situations, and you have to manage your time effectively, and you must try to manage your house and your belongings in a very organized level, so you can manage your stress level, and you may also manage this life intervention practices. So if you are able to incorporating these components in your daily lives, so you may found that your blood pressure level is going to be down and reducing the level, so you can able to calm your mind by practicing these components. I hope this session is very beneficial for you, very informative to you. The information is giving in this session is found, I hope, very remedial to you. Now, I'm going to invite the Rashmi ma'am that she can start the Q&A session for today's session. You may ask about today's session and anything you would like to ask about the hypertension, what you need to do and what you should not to do. So we are able to clarify this time.
Is there any question or query regarding this session? So you can ask freely from us. Any query or any doubt, any suggestion, then you can freely ask or suggest us. Okay, I think there is no query and question. So we are going to leave this meeting. We are going to end this meeting. Thank you for attending today's session.